The Invincible War lasted 3 intense days, bringing 18 alternate dimension versions of Mark Grayson to Prime Earth, where they unleashed devastating destruction. The chaos resulted in mass casualties and widespread damage to major cities, leaving the name of Invincible forever stained due to Angstrom Levy's vengeful plot against the hero. With so many variants causing havoc, fans may wonder what ultimately happened to each of them. So, this video covers the fate of all 18 alternate versions of Mark Grayson, offering closure for those who found it hard to keep track of every evil Invincible. Capevincible stands out with his yellow and black suit and distinctive yellow cape, labeling him as one of the rare Invincible variants to survive the initial war. Also known as Sinister Mark, he is exiled to a barren desert planet alongside other versions after Angstrom Levy's betrayal. Struggling to survive, Capevincible resorts to cannibalism, feeding on his fellow Invincibles until he is eventually defeated and killed by Prime Invincible and Movincihawk, Mohawk Mark. Sportvincible stands out with his leather jacket twist on the classic costume, seemingly poking fun at the CW's fondness for leather superhero suits. Beyond his unique look, he doesn't play a significant role and is killed off-screen by unknown forces. Interestingly, Sportvincible is exclusive to the Amazon Prime video series, leaving speculation on who might be responsible for his death. Some speculate it could be Savage Dragon, a character featured in the crossover comic but absent from the show due to copyright restrictions. Prisonincible is instantly recognizable by his severely scarred skin, resembling the aftermath of flying too close to the sun. Known for his time in a Viltrumite prison for unknown reasons, his sinister nature is evident when he wastes no time obliterating Moscow. Like many other variants, Prisonincible is ultimately betrayed by Angstrom Levy and exiled to a desolate desert dimension, where he meets a grim fate, being killed and eaten by Capevincible. Nogogglesible sports the classic blue and yellow Invincible suit, but notably lacks the signature goggles on his cowl. During the Invincible War, he took on the Guardians of the Globe, and much like his father, Omni-Man, effortlessly overpowered them. However, his rampage was cut short when Darkwing heroically sacrificed himself by dragging Nogogglesible into the Shadowverse, where they were never seen again. It can be inferred that Flaxancible either triumphed over or was overthrown by the Flaxan dimension, as this version of him confronts the Pentagon, only to meet an untimely death in a clash with Britain Donald. The two heroes succeeded in severely injuring and ultimately destroying Flaxancible, but due to the extent of his wounds, this variant of Invincible wouldn't be viable for the Reaniman program. Movincihawk is an Invincible variant known for his mohawk, earning him the nickname Mohawk Mark within the community for years. This version clashed with the Prime Invincible before being left stranded on a desert planet with other variants. To survive, Movincihawk resorted to eating his fellow variants alongside Capevincible, but he managed to retain his sanity. Months later, when Angstrom reopened a portal to release the Prime Invincible, Movincihawk escaped. He then kidnapped Angstrom Levy to experiment on him in his own dimension, where he was later seen with a harem of Atom Eves while his scientists worked on Angstrom and his Viltrumite allies helped him conquer the world, in which Movincihawk's reign ended when Robot killed him by planting a bomb in his mouth. Hairvincible is recognized for his thick, flowing locks, which he likely takes great care of between conquering worlds and eliminating enemies. He was taken by surprise by Tech Jacket, a hero who doesn't exist in his own universe, which is why Tech Jacket was able to swiftly overpower and kill this variant, leaving Hairvincible with no knowledge on how Tech Jacket's powers operated. Gogglesvincible sports large, light-colored goggles and finds himself engaged in a ferocious battle against Teen Team. Despite their efforts, Teen Team stands no chance against this malevolent version of Invincible, and Monster Girl along with Robot were defeated, leaving Rex Splode as the last hope. In a desperate move, Rex activated his skeleton, causing an explosion that took his life along with Gogglesvincible's. Capvincible doesn't receive much attention in the comics, but he is the first version of Invincible that Powerplex kills after escaping from prison, which is the same prison that Mohawk Mark destroyed in the Amazon Prime video series. Capvincible wears a blue cap to conceal his hair and harbors a deep desire to kill Oliver, not realizing that Oliver doesn't exist in his world and is his half-brother. Though this variant isn't shown dead in the comics alongside his killer, he later appears as a Reaniman. Nomaskible has a rather sinister nature, though he does show a soft side for William after reflecting with Maskvincible on the people they've lost in their lives. Aside from this, Nomaskible doesn't have time to mourn his deceased boyfriend, as Angstrom Levy traps him in an alternate dimension devoid of food and water. This harsh fate ultimately leads to Capevincible killing and consuming him to stay alive. Maskvincible becomes a villain during the Invincible War and later returns to his childhood home, longing to reunite with his mother. While it's unclear what happened to her, it's likely he accidentally killed her. Regardless of the truth, Maskvincible is eventually transported with the other variants to the desert planet dimension, where he meets his end when Sinister Mark consumes him. Mustachible is a brief-lived variant of Invincible, marked by his proud Viltrumite heritage, evident in his outfit and mustache. Even with that strong lineage, he is taken out by the infamous Tech Jacket, and later is revived before transformed into a Reaniman as part of the Pentagon's project led by Sinclair. Hoodvincible is a variant who covers his face with a bandit cloth. He engages in a fierce battle against the Cyberforce team, which includes Psyblade, Ripclaw, Heatwave, Velocity, and Ballistic. But sadly, he is ultimately defeated and killed by the team after a brutal and intense fight. Omnivincible is a fan favorite, largely due to his outfit, which features his father's iconic Omni-Man costume. However, with his impressive appearance, he proves to be a less powerful villain, as he is easily defeated and killed by Shadowhawk and Madman, two heroes who are absent from the show due to copyright issues with the creators. Viltrumincible shows clear loyalty to the Viltrum Empire, evidenced by his attire, which includes their colors and a sash around his waist. But the absence of a mustache suggests that he may not be a completely committed Viltrumite. Either way, this variant is left stranded in the desert planet dimension by Angstrom Levy, where he is ultimately killed and consumed by Capevincible. This marks the last Invincible variant to be killed by Capevincible, as the hero version of Invincible witnesses Sinister Mark eating his freshly slain body. Bulletproofible tries to break into the Pentagon, much like Flaxancible, but is later taken out by Sinclair's Reaniman. While he doesn't make much of an impact, his identity is clear due to his choice of costume, which mirrors Art's original design for him. This design was later used by Bulletproof, a member of the Guardians of the Globe, which is why this Invincible variant shares the same name. Lightblueincible has a similar fashion to the classic Invincible, instead with a color scheme of blue and yellow in lighter tones. Even though this variant doesn't make much of an influence in the comic or series, the comic version meets a sad fate when Pitt, a hero not featured in the show due to copyright issues, rips his face apart. Stripevincible dons the classic yellow and blue Invincible attire, but with a distinctive black stripe across his arms featuring Viltrumite etchings. He faces off against Britain's greatest hero, Jack Staff, and manages to escape, causing havoc in London before being banished to a desert planet dimension by Angstrom Levy. Stripevincible is the last on the list, who becomes one of Capevincible's victims and is consumed.